So, Tony, thank you very much for coming to have this discussion a lot of time with you. First of all, I want you to introduce to yourself, to the audience, to the people that are watching this video right now, and tell us a few things about you and what you are doing.
Sure. My name's Tony Robinson. I'm a drummer from the UK. I started DailyChops YouTube channel probably about a year ago now. Had a bit of a hiatus last summer, but currently got about 240 videos on there now. So the channel is going strong.
Great, great. I'm a fan of your channel. I personally watch a lot of hours. To be honest, I'm not in this level to try everything that you do, but I'm trying to improve with what you are doing. So the first natural question that we'll ask you is, how did you decide to create this channel in YouTube?
Well, I was mainly creating it for myself because you've probably seen most of the drum videos on YouTube. They're very long-winded. It takes about 10 minutes just to get a couple of drum licks or ideas, which I find quite frustrating because I don't want to see something that's overhyped or just an extended video that I'm not getting that much material from. So the videos I'm basically making for myself or drummers like me that just want a quick short lesson. If they like it, then they can study it. If they don't, then they can just quickly move on. So it's really from that perspective, and it's mainly aimed at advanced drummers. So, you know, I guess in the UK from grade 5 upwards.
I guess we all want to go to this level at some point, at this advanced level that you are playing on your channel, and we all appreciate the efforts that you do through your channel that make us better drummers. I will go to the second question, which will be, let's say, more general about drumming, and how do you think can be related with other science like mathematics or physics? And do you think that is a science by itself?
Well, music in general is defined really by mathematics, and certainly drumming, the way I see it, a bar is just a space of time. You can divide that just like an equation in maths. So how many beats you want, and that gives you your time signature. So music is very math orientated, and that's certainly how I visualize like the drum licks I'm playing, and which is why I like reading music because I like to see that relationship between time and the number of beats in that space of time. In terms of other sciences, I guess ergonomically, a lot of sports science. So if you're into your molar playing, ergonomics, I like to have my drum kit set up really sensibly, so I can reach everything without any effort. So in that sense, it's sort of related to sports science. Um, I guess historically, drumming and music links in with philosophy, of course. But I wouldn't go so far as to call drumming a science itself. It's still just a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely, it's a lot of fun, and from my personal experience, because I also try to play the drums, it's has to do with the counting. So
Yeah.
mathematics, I think, is a very important part of the playing of this instrument, and of course, we are the rhythm of
Mm.
any kind of band, any kind of collection of instruments. So we should be very careful with our counting and to be, let's say, the metronome for the band, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Great, great. I will move to the next question, which is about the artistic expression through the drumming. I would like to ask you how your creativity has been changed, has been developed through the years by playing music and drums specifically.
Mm. That's a good question. Certainly, when I started playing drums, I was very of the sort of thinking that I would just learn lots and lots of different drum grooves, lots of different fills, and sort of glue them together. And then from that, I'd get my creativity. But as I've developed as a player, I've seen that my creativity comes from having a good grasp of the rudiments because they really allow one to be creative on the instrument. And it really comes down to just something like learning how to play paradiddles properly. Because if you can play a paradiddle, then that means you can phrase on the right or the left hand. So if you're catching band hits. It doesn't matter which hand you play with, and that frees you up to be creative, and that allows you not to be thinking about patterns, but to be thinking about the music. And so once you've got the fundamentals of rudiments, that allows you just to play what you're thinking in your head. So that's sort of where I am at the moment, and sort of how I think about developing creativity. I'm really into things like Ted Reed's syncopation. If I want to be good at playing a certain style, I'll play, say, for example, if it's Afro-Cuban music, if it's a particular song, there's some difficult patterns, I will just practice the bell pattern of Afro-Cuban, the sort of bembe sort of rhythm, and then play a pattern on the left from Ted Reed's syncopation. Stick all those things together. Once you've done it for about a couple of weeks, you're already freeing yourself up to be creative. I don't think just by playing lots of chops, even though that's sort of what my YouTube channel is like, I don't think that gets you the creativity. It's the rudiments and everything behind that will get you that. I know a lot of people have asked me, how do you keep thinking of all these ideas? Because there's like over 200 drum fills on my channel, and it's really, they're all linked to different rudiments, and it's just the rudiments gives me my expression.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's about being in a level that you are able to do some things, and after that, I would use an expression that is quite stereotype, but you can feel the music by doing this, having reached this kind of technical level, and then you can express your emotions, feelings through the chops, as you put it. So I agree with you. This is very important, and this is something
so
that every drummer. Mm-hmm.
If you've developed all the rudiments, and like the more advanced you are on the drums, easier it is to pull ideas out of your brain. So if you hear something going on in the music, you're more likely to be able to play what you're thinking rather than just a set pattern.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. The rudiments is the first thing that I think every teacher should teach their students how to play, and this is what I am being taught by you and by some other teachers. So this is a very important step to develop your skills from the beginning, and then let the creativity come into the game, and you will be able to do amazing stuff like the ones that you share on your YouTube channel. Let's remind to the people that watch this video to subscribe to your channel, of course.
Yeah.
DailyChops is the name.
Daily
so
Chops.
Please do subscribe to Tony's channel and become a better drummer by practicing, of course, what he is doing there. I will go to the next question, and this comes to the influence that you have on your play from other drummers. I would like you to name top 5 of your best drummers from your point of view, alive and ones that are past.
That's difficult. But I'd say Dave Weckl is probably my most, the biggest influence on my playing, because I think, obviously he's, very much influenced by Buddy Rich and has a very clean and expressive style of playing that's really based on the rudiments, and that's sort of like how I've gone down that route, and that's sort of what I'm aiming for. I really like his playing in terms of how effortless he makes it look, how clean his sound is, and yeah, he's just a beast. It's like so Dave Weckl, Gary Novak is amazing. Vinny Colaiuta, mainly fusion guys, so fusion drummers. Really like Virgil Donati. He's I wouldn't say I'm trying to emulate his playing, but his like philosophy on drumming, and he's just the things that he can do on the instrument, is beyond anything I can even imagine doing myself. So that inspires me to play.
So you named already 3 or 4. I think it's one more.
4. Yeah, 4. So there's also I really like Alan Holdsworth,
Hmm.
guitarist. Yeah, I'm sure you know. But Chad Wackerman, who did a lot of recording with him, I really like his playing. It very much suits what Alan's doing on guitar, just because it makes sense. It's sort of like counterbalances the crazy stuff that Alan's doing, holds the group together, and but is also really expressive at the same time. So yeah, there's 5 drummers. I mean, there's plenty more.
Yeah, of course there are plenty more. I can imagine that this is quite tough, like question for you, but I just want to listen from you the highlights. Let's say the top influence for your playing and your as a listener, of course. And I think, yeah, pretty much this is. I mean, for me, Buddy reaches the top, from the ones that are not with us, and. Billy Comban also his like the fusion style that he does, it's amazing. So I think, yeah, we are in the same frequency here. All right, great. I will move to the next question, more on your drum kit and the equipment that you use for teaching and for your lives. What is your set? What is your preferred set for lives and for teaching?
The set that I have at the moment is a Tama Superstar Hyperdrive.
Heads.
Yeah,
And
Remo heads, and I've got these sound-off rims.
mm-hmm.
Just makes it easier for recording. But it's a Tama Superstar Hyperdrive with a 22-inch kick,
Okay.
and then the short stack toms. I've got a Yamaha aluminium snare, the recording custom, which I really like. So that's what I use for the videos. That's what I use for when I'm teaching. In terms of live stuff, I tend to do quite a lot of jazz gigs. I don't really do many bands. I tend to just play like jazz trios. So I've got a Pearl Export compact kit.
A Pearl.
Like,
Okay.
yeah, Pearl Export,
Which is
like
quite
18 inch.
you can carry it very easily, right? It's
Yeah,
smaller
yeah.
in size.
Yeah, really, really small. So it's an 18-inch bass drum, 14-inch full tom, and I got the 12-inch tom, so it's really compact. That's easy to stick in the car, or you can carry it quite easily. But yeah, that's what I use. And then I've got what we got? Zildjian, Constantinople, Phosphorus. I don't even know what that one is. Oh yeah, Master Series. I've had it for so long, I've worn off the label. Then I've got a Heist D20, Sweet Ride, and some K Light Hats, 13-inch. I pretty much stick to those. I've had those for years now. I would like to change them at some point, probably to some minor, but I'm happy with them at the moment.
Great. And for sticks, do you use
Sticks? Got just 5As actually. If I'm doing jazz, maybe AJ2, yeah, the 5As, or the AJ2, the American Jazz model. When I was younger, I used to play with the Thomas Lang massive tree trunk sticks. I don't know if you've seen those, but that's probably why I've got good technique, because they're so heavy. But yeah.
They say that the heavy makes you then, when you touch the lighter ones, makes you better, like on your chops, and it's some kind, the weights for your hands to become stronger, and then when you touch the more light ones, you're able to do easier the feels, and the chops become much easier.
Yeah, I mean, when I was little, I was using, when I was younger, I was using Thomas Lang sticks, and they were way too big for me, but I was really into Thomas Lang. And so you can't play with them without hurting yourself unless you've got good technique. So I quickly developed a good, like molar stroke and proper, my teacher taught me German grip, and that sort of changed to American grip. But I think using those sticks actually helped me develop my technique. And like you say, people often practice with heavier sticks, sometimes with the brass sticks on the practice pad to improve technique. I don't practice with those sort of things now, but I think it did help me get to where I am today.
Great, excellent, amazing. So let's go to the next question. How did teaching? I know that playing, of course, for someone, or for band or for your personal experience is something different than teaching. It's completely different, I
Mm.
would say. How did teaching came to your life? How did you decide to start teaching? Through your channel, of course, and through your website and your. I will remind to the people that watch the videos that you have also some books that you sell through your website. Can you repeat your website for our audience?
Yeah, it's tonyrobinson.co.uk, and my publishing company is TSFR Publishing, which you can find on my website. But yeah, you're right. I got into teaching basically straight after college because it's quite easy when you're young and still living at home to make money just from teaching other people how to play drums. Um, and so that's sort of where I started before I even went to university. And then after university, I started teaching more regularly in the evenings while I was doing my full time job. And now, in the last year, I did a teaching degree, which is a PGCE in the UK, which is what you need to do if you want to teach in the classroom. So I'm trained to be a classroom teacher. But really, the whole book idea and teaching through books and through videos, that was really something that I've wanted to do since I started playing drums. Because my first drum teacher was a guy called Brian Stone. He's taught quite a few known people like Ash Stone, Adrian Spillett. So quite he's not very well known himself, but he's taught quite a few well known people. But he used to write the drum music for the graded exams for drums, which is what in the UK you do to get levels. It's like the examinations in drum kits. And so he used to write the music for that, and I used to think that was really, really, really cool. So I've always wanted to do that when I was older, and so now that I can, I decided I'd start writing books, and I thought the Daily Chops sort of format would suit it really well, and everyone likes to have a video accompaniment to the music, so I thought this is the best way to go about it, and hopefully it helps lots of people.
Mm, definitely does. Definitely does. And that goes to the next question. How do you think that someone that practices via your material, through your material on your channel, your books, your online website, so how do you think by someone that follows you on this media and purchase your books, of course, can improve through the practice and everything? Is it some process that will happen in instantly, or it will take some time, or what are your expectations for your student for your
Well,
students?
there's two ways or a few ways you can go about it. I mean, the way I post it, I post a video every day of a drum fill. Now, I don't expect everyone to be able to learn that fill in a day and then keep doing it like that.
That would be too difficult.
You could do that, and I'd be very impressed if you do. I mean, I find it hard enough just to play them myself every day. So if you did that, you would definitely improve because, like I said, I've made sure that I do a different style each day. So we have rudiments on Monday. I can't remember the order now. Linear fills, and then we got jazz, double bass fills, rock, and then funk. So 7 different styles. Oh, and odd meter fills, so things in odd time signatures.
And
So
some
I think
full
that's
length songs that you have also.
Yeah, and some full length songs. So 7 different styles. But if you play through every day, you're going to improve because you're working on different areas that you're playing each day. But having said that, it would be quite difficult to do that.
Definitely.
However, if you like, the way that I would probably recommend is thinking about your own areas of weaknesses. So it might be rudiments. I've got a rudiments playlist of rudimental fills. So maybe focus on that for a month and just learn those ones. Or you might be really into your rock drumming, so just focus on the rock playlist and do it like that. But then there's the sort of, if you took my materials with you to your own drum teacher, then they would be able to break it down and show you the sort of internal tricks that are going on in each fill. Because it's not just a matter of a drum fill. There's loads of rudiments hidden in there, loads of little things that are very common playing drums. Like the last rudimental fill I put was like a 7-stroke roll fill. The 7-stroke roll comes everywhere in drumming, and it's something that's really, really useful. And so just learning that one fill, if you've never played a 7-stroke roll before, that's going to advance your playing so much. So you can take that fill and orchestrate it differently around the drum kit and spend hours just focusing on that one drum fill. So I recommend that anyone that decides to learn my drum fills, don't just take them for what they are. Mess about with them, change the sticking, see what happens if you put a different hand on a different drum. Come up with your own ideas so you're adding it to your own drumming repertoire, and then that will really push your playing. So there's a few ways you can use the books, but yeah, basically one a day would be ideal, but you're always going to improve if you practice it. It doesn't matter how you go about it.
Mm-hmm. And I also noticed that you put always in every video, you put the link to the transcription. And of course, everyone that watches your videos can download the transcription of what you are playing, which is very useful because many people get lost. And also you put it on the right side of your screen in every video, also very useful. And you have also this kind of timing, keeping that anyone can see at the specific time that you play, what do you play. So for me, this is very important to understand and break it down very easily without even having to bother my teacher or anyone else. I just teach myself with your videos, and that's the incredible thing with your the content that you put on your YouTube, and of course on your website, on your books. It is something similar that will help everyone to become a better drummer faster by adopting what you do, putting on the vocabulary, and as you said, making their own.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. And what kind of effort is required for you to put these videos out for us?
Well, it takes quite a lot of effort, but I've got a full-time job, so I have to do it on evenings and weekends. So it basically means during the week, I think about ideas, and then on Saturday, I record them all and hopefully edit them on the weekend. If I don't have time on the weekend, then I have to do it in the evenings the following week. But I'm just trying to stay ahead of where they are on YouTube so that I can keep putting them out every day. Like I started when I started a year ago. The reason why they stopped was because I started my teaching course, which was so intense that anyone that's done a PGC will tell you how horrific it is in terms of workload. So I couldn't do the videos, but now that I've got a normal job, I've got time to do them in the evenings and weekends, and hopefully keep putting out one a day.
Awesome, that's amazing what you do. I mean, even in your free time, that you try to teach other people. That I think this is really valuable for the community, for the drumming community. In your limited time to put out these videos and with this way, this analytical way, and of course you use some software to do that. If you want to tell us what you are using to record.
Yeah, sure. To record them, I've just moved over to Studio One. I was using Audition, which is an Adobe program, mainly because I got it for free with a lot of other Adobe programs. I just use what I can afford. But I decided to splash out in Studio One, so that makes things a bit easier. It means I can put them out a bit quicker. So that's what I use to record. In terms of like interface and mic setup, it's really like basic. I've got the Audix DP7 kit, mic kit. So when I started this channel, I had a cheap thing from Thomann, which it still does the job, so I don't need anything special. I've got a Tascam US 2000 interface, which is quite old, but it still works. So that's how I record the drums. In terms of music, I write everything out by hand first, and then I write it in Sibelius, which is the notation software. I then export the image from that, put that into what's it called? After Effects, Adobe After Effects. Then I animate the music cursor. Then I put all that together with what I've recorded on my camera in Premiere Pro, and then export it, and that's one video.
Wow, yeah, that sounds a lot of work, Tony, really.
it takes a bit of time. It's the editing. I think anyone that does YouTube, I respect them an awful lot because unless it's just a blog channel or a blog channel, but like anything that requires editing to a significant degree takes a lot of time. And so yeah, I respect anyone that has decided to try and do a YouTube channel and try to keep it going because it really takes a lot of work just to make one video, especially when you're starting out. When I started out, I found it really difficult, and I was going to give up after the first few weeks. But fortunately, I persevered, and now you've got 200 videos up.
We all are very glad that you didn't quit and you continue doing it because if this happened, we wouldn't have your material and so many things to practice on every day. So thanks for that. And now we are starting to learning more things about you. Would like to ask some more personal questions. You said that you have your normal job, full-time job. So what is the job? Is it related with music?
Not well, sort of. I do quite a few things because I teach in the evenings. So I have my own private students. I'm on the local music service, which provides lessons to schools. But my main job at the moment is creating educational resources for a company nearby. Don't really want to say, but it's not music related. But that came from me working in music in London. I used to work for Trinity College London in music. I used to edit their books and typeset them. So that's why I got the experience in publishing, and that's why I can make my own books. And so that was really helpful for me in leading towards doing DailyChops. So yeah, that's sort of my background. Got my fingers in various pies and seeing where things go at the moment.
So it is related with definitely with the music and the books and the teaching. All this come together, and we see it on the videos, of course. The degree of experience that you show us with what you do on the drum kit and how you give this to the people, the audience that watch your channel. That's amazing. So you've been to London, and let's say here that you are from UK, and currently you live where?
I live in the West Midlands. I live in Shropshire, which is a county that borders Wales, and it's sort of in line with Birmingham. So if you imagine you're looking at the UK and you know where Wales is, and then you move across, and that's sort of where I live.
Amazing, great. Personally, I've been only to London and to Nottingham, so I wish I've been to these places that you mentioned, but this is not the case till now. Hopefully, in the future, I will have a chance to do that. And let's go to the next question about the previous band. Did you play in any band, or how did you start? Yeah.
I mean, I played in. I went to music school and I did my masters in jazz. So I played in various ensembles. I played in various lineups. Currently, I like to play jazz gigs. So I like to turn up and improvise and play standards. I really enjoy. It's more about communicating with the different musicians. That's just something I enjoy at the moment. But I grew up on playing like Dream Theater and like heavier music. Like I say, I used to be into Thomas Lang, so I really like that sort of heavy hitting stuff. I used to be in a metal band called Orez.
Okay, that was unexpected. I wouldn't imagine you in a metal band.
Yeah, so I was in a metal band, or I guess a really heavy rock band on the cusp of being metal. The sort of definition of metal keeps changing. So I'd say it's a metal band, and then I on the flip side of that, I was in a jazz trio with a harpist and a double bassist. So quite an unusual lineup for jazz.
Indeed.
But yeah, I mean, I played in lots of things. Used to be in a big band. Used to, I just like playing anything really.
Okay, that's amazing. That's great. And you mentioned about um, the personal studies that you had, and I would like to ask if you have other instruments, if you play other instruments, and
Yeah. So, well, in terms of studies, I went to music school called the Institute of Contemporary Music in London. Then I went to the Royal Welsh College of Music in Cardiff, um, and then I did a course in music publishing in London again, and that's when I started working at Trinity College London, working on their music books. But in terms of instruments, obviously drum kit is my main instrument, but I also play piano and can play a bit of bass and like a little bit of guitar, or rather the other way around. I can play a little bit of guitar, not a lot of bass, but I can play piano pretty well. I got my grade 8 when I was young, so
mhm.
I use that to create backing tracks. And with MIDI you can play any instrument pretty much. So just whack it together in Studio One, and create the play along. So yeah,
Yeah, quite a big, let's say, variety of instruments, and of course, this adds to your general musicality and music education. That is amazing. And I guess you have many different genres that you like as a listener and as a drummer, right? So I
yeah,
heard jazz, more hard rock. I would guess pop, huh?
yeah. I like most music. I mean, at the moment I'm listening to like Alan Holdsworth mainly because well, he passed away not too long ago. So I mean, I like to refresh my knowledge of his music.
Hmm.
I've got Megadeth in the car. I've got yeah, Dream Theater, Chick Corea. Then I've got classical stuff like Chopin because I like playing that on the piano. Anything really. Animals as leaders, they're really good. There's Now versus
You
Now.
already shared with us that you're based in UK, and I would like to tell us if you are planning to come to visit other countries, because I know many people want to actually see you live performing, and that was something that I saw from the comments in your on your YouTube videos, and
Yeah,
people actually would like definitely to visit their country and see you live in the cities, in different
if
cities.
if that's something that I could do, I mean, I'd love to do a clinic tour at some point, but not really sure if I'm well known enough for doing that yet. But it'd be really nice to visit all the people that like watching my videos and show them in person and to be able to give them tips firsthand. Because obviously through YouTube it's very there's no dialogue between me and the learners, which means that they could be learning it wrong or having difficulty, and I'm not there to give them a pointer. So if I gave a masterclass, then they can ask me questions, which is how people learn the best, I think, by asking what they don't understand. I don't have any bands to tour with except for maybe a harp trio, but that wouldn't really be showing my drumming chops because that's quite light playing. But yeah, I mean, if I ever get a European tour or anything else going on in the EU, then I'll definitely post it.
With of course this interview also we had the chance to get to know you as a person, not only as a drummer. So I will think
Yeah,
being
welcome.
on my channel.